One more step to this process, but how does it feel at this point, knowing that you could be
it's very humbling.
Very humbling. You could be mentioned with Lombardi and Noel and Landry and some of the greats like that.
Well, I've coached against 14 guys that are in the Hall of Fame, and I've coached with 4 coaches that are in the Hall of Fame, and I've coached 10 Hall of Fame players as a head coach and 5 as an assistant coach. So I know what they look like and how they play and how they work. And I'm just so grateful to be considered to be in that class. I really am. It is a humbling experience.
You know, Coach, Jim Trotter here. First off, congratulations. I wanted to ask you, as a voter myself, what is the criteria in your mind for a Hall of Fame coach? Because as you know, we're not given any guidelines on voting as it relates to players. What makes a Hall of Fame coach?
Well, I think it's a coach that takes the talent he has and makes that team the best they can possibly be. Now, if he has enough players on it, will become a playoff team and maybe even a Super Bowl team. But it all starts with good players and an organization put together. And I was very fortunate to be in 3 different organizations with the opportunity to put these teams together. And, you know, it did it totally different from my first years in Philadelphia when I was my own head coach, coordinator, quarterback coach, call the plays. Out of the league 14 years as a broadcaster, coming back, I couldn't do it the same way. So I made more of an emphasis of being the leader in the total organization and forming a culture that all worked together to do number one thing, the main thing being the main thing, Lombardi Trophy. You know, only weighs 7.5 pounds, but it takes the entire organization to lift it. That's where I really focused. You know.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Well deserved. I guess, I'm wondering, what do you think was your best coaching job or maybe to coach? I mean, it's easy to look at the Super Bowl teams and, but throughout the years, there has to be a favorite team that you coached.
Well, maybe not the favorite because they're all my favorite. You know, I really, really had a great relationship with all 3 teams. The Philadelphia Eagles was the toughest job. It hadn't been in the playoffs for 18 years, had 1 winning season in 15 years. No first, second, third round pick my first year. No first, second round pick my second year. No first or second my third year. And we were in the playoffs our third year in the Super Bowl in 5. So I'm very, very proud of what those players did and how much better they made me really look as a head football coach. But I know this. They worked very, very hard, and we were able to, in this time, and no restrictions, to develop a lot of good players that were middle round choices. The Wilbert Montgomerys, Carl Harristons, those kind of guys. Charlie Johnson. These guys were middle round picks, but they played like all pros, and that's because of the kind of work ethic they had, the character they had, and how they formed the nucleus of my Super Bowl team in 1980.
Coach, you talked about the 10 Hall of Fame players that you coached. It could be 2 more, Jared Allen and Torrey Holt, also going in 2022. You talk about molding and developing, and the great players. But what is the challenge of that, of having superstar talent and developing talent and winning ball games at the same time?
The challenge is not make the mistake with a high draft pick. Most Hall of Famers come out of those early picks, and if you make a mistake there, you're not going to have a Hall of Famer. My first pick coming back into the league in 1997 was Orlando Pace. That was no gamble. He was a Hall of Famer in college. You could just tell that's what he was going to be, and he became one. Isaac Bruce, I saw that the very first time I walked on the practice field because I have seen other Hall of Fame players. I know what they look like. I know how they play. I know how they work, and he fit in every category and actually added his own little personality and physical traits to the position of the wide receiver. Jared Allen, we drafted him in the 4th round. He reminded me of Grant Wistrom that we picked in the 1st round in 1998. Same kind of mental attitude, competitive nature, and ability to bend and run, and just had an unbelievable motor. And there was no way anybody was going to hold him from being a potential Hall of Famer unless he got injured. I really enjoyed being around that guy. Torrey Holt, he's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if any wide receiver that ever performed more like a great player in his rookie year than Torrey Holt. Thanks to Al Saunders, Mike Martz, who were coaching those guys. They did a beautiful job. But Torrey came with us with the ability to do what he ended up doing. And I know there's no question in my mind he's a Hall of Fame football player.
And, Coach, before we let you go, we just want to get your thoughts on John Madden, of course, the Hall of Fame coach who passed earlier this week.
Well, first off, I knew John Madden when he was Allen Hancock Junior College, and I was at junior college about 1962. So I've known him a long time. And I think the best way to sum up John Madden is he had no equal. And regardless of what he did, he had no equal as a football coach, as a broadcaster, and then into the game business. You know, I just think he is so unique. There never was before him a person like him, and there never one will be. And he's just very special, and all of us that know him very well are hurting a little bit today.
Coach, very nice words, and congratulations on making the finalist for the Gold Jacket class of 2022.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Congrats, Coach.
All right, when the Gold Jacket finalist returns, the final two players will be revealed. As you on the life of John Madden, who may be doing what he talked about in his 2006 Hall of Fame induction speech.
After all the people leave and the last guy closes the door, I believe that the busts talk to each other. And here you get an opportunity to talk to all your old players. Hey, Gene, remember the time we did this? Hey, Willie, hey, Art, hey, Jim Otto, remember that? Or get to say, hey, Hank, remember that game we played in Kansas City? And then, Vince, what did you think, that last game? Remember we played you down there in Super Bowl II? Those are the conversations, and they just go on and on. It sounds crazy, but if you can't prove otherwise, I'm going to believe that the busts talk to each other when the lights go out.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.